I want to tell you that the story in the early minutes of episode 2 is a bit backward before Fran and Shisho get on the horse carriage to head to the city. So while Fran and Shisho were in this forest, they spent the night there and walked until they found a path that led to the city. The demi-human race will always evolve to become stronger, making Fran's parents take Fran on an adventure to evolve. But unfortunately, none of the black cat race could evolve because there weren't any clues about this. Then Fran's parents died from fighting too much and not finding a way to evolve. Fran will continue her parents' desire to achieve the highest evolution possible. Fran adapted very quickly, and she could use any ability that Shisho gave her. In addition, Fran's sword technique is very good even though it doesn't use Shisho's powers. Fran had already defeated many monsters during her nights in the forest. She also uses the monster's body to make materials that may be needed later. Fran could store all the items she got in Shisho's dimensional magic storage. Shisho was very happy that the user had excellent abilities. Also, he was happy that Fran had always loved him. Suddenly, Fran heard someone else's voice calling for help from a distance. Fran could hear this faraway voice because she was a black cat race. Then Fran immediately approached the person and defeated several goblins who were there. Shisho warns that Fran should not talk to him directly if there are still people around Fran. Shisho will always use telepathy so that others don't know if a sword can talk. Then a man named Randall thanked Fran for saving Randall and one customer who wanted to head to town. Randall also offers Fran to come with him to the city in this horse-drawn carriage. Shisho and Fran knew they would be used as bodyguards for Randall, but they also needed a vehicle. Fran and Shisho had no money, so they accepted an offer from Randall. Then Randall said that lately, the activities of the monsters had become very wild. The monsters in the A-level demon territory in the east were having a dispute, and no one knew the cause. According to legend, there was an S-rank beast named Fenrir, and it had long since died in the A-level demon region. Shisho informed Fran via telepathy that Shisho was from the A-level demon region. He was plugged in the center of the area and did not know where it came from. Then Fran asked Randall about the sword that had appeared in the center of the A-level demon region. But unfortunately, he didn't know about the sword because there were no rumors about it. Randall greatly admired Fran because she was still not a teenager but could defeat a monster with a G rank threat level. According to Randall, if Fran had been an adventurer, she would have been at F rank or E rank. Then Fran wanted Randall to explain in more detail about adventures. Fran didn't know because all this time, she had only been a slave to bandits. The highest adventurer rank was S rank, and the lowest was G rank. The strongest A rank adventurer was named Forland, the Devil's Mother. The threat level of the monsters was also the same as the adventurer rank, ranging from G rank to S rank. Adventurers will earn money according to the rewards of the quests they take. Fran had never had a decent life during this time, so after Fran heard of Randall, she wanted to become an adventurer to earn money. Randall said that he would take Fran to the Adventurers Guild so she could register herself as an adventurer. Adventurers Guilds also accept sales of materials from animals or monsters that adventurers have collected. So if Fran has the materials, she could sell them to the Adventurers Guild. Then Randall's customer said that the black cat race wouldn't be able to develop because they were only the weakest race. Shisho was still confused by the words of Randall's customer. He also thought, will Fran be able to become an adventurer even though she is still young? Shisho was also worried about Fran's condition because a small child would get sick if she was tired. But at least Fran should get enough rest like now so that her body condition remains stable. The next day, they arrived at the town of Alessar. Randall showed the way to the Adventurers Guild. Fran would get there easily since it wasn't too far away. Fran and Shisho were overjoyed because it was their first time traveling and visiting the city. But unfortunately, the other adventurers there underestimated Fran's abilities because she was from the black cat race. But Fran still holds back her anger and prefers to go to the Adventurers Guild first. Shisho also started to identify the weapons the adventurers had, and he was surprised to see the attack status of their weapons. Shisho doesn't have a lot of attacks. He just uses various abilities to fight his enemies. Shisho said he was not confident because he was just an ordinary trash sword without his abilities. But Fran is grateful to have Shisho because he is a sword with many skills that is easy to use. After arriving at the Adventurers Guild, Fran registered herself with a receptionist named Nell. But Nell said that Fran had to take the adventurer entrance exam first. If Fran escapes, Nell will make her an adventurer card. In Nell's mind, she couldn't believe that a child like Fran would become an adventurer. Apart from the dangerous battlefield, Nell is convinced that Fran cannot survive as an adventurer. But at least Nell would take Fran to the examiner's place first because she saw Fran's strong determination. He was Donodran of the Kijin race and would have no mercy on anyone who challenged him. When Shisho identified Donodran, he had a very high ability, and the skill earlier should have frightened the participants. But it turns out Fran is not afraid of such power, and Shisho supports Fran and helps her fight Donodran. Nell was surprised that a small child could use magic and had too many abilities. In this world, one wouldn't be unable to use high-level sword skills and activate high-level magic at the same time. It should only be done by 2 or more people. Even to activate magic, one had to cast a spell first, but Fran didn't cast any spells. Nell never saw too many abilities in one person. Even high-level adventurers couldn't do it. Then Donodran agreed to Fran's condition to become an adventurer. After that, Donodran reported this to the guild master named Clint. After hearing the story from Donodran, Clint was curious and failed to identify Fran's abilities. Then Clint asked Fran, "How can a kid like you have so many abilities?" Fran refuses to answer because she can't tell this secret. Then Clint didn't force Fran to say it. He was only wary of this kind of power being misused by bad people, and Clint didn't see the evil aura within Fran. Shisho was grateful that he had allocated many points to upgrade every ability he had. So Clint wouldn't be able to find the identity of Shisho and Fran. After that, Nell and Clint told Fran to register for her adventure class. If someone chooses a suitable class, later the user can get more abilities according to the class. When Nell matches Fran's abilities with a special class defining crystal, she and Clint are surprised that all the classes are unlocked and suit Fran very well. Warrior Swordsman, Magic Swordsman, Instant Swordsman, Lancer, Summoner, Ravager, Sorcerer, Wizard, Archer, Alchemist, Dagger, Dual Sword, Ranger, Bard, Brawler, and Necromancer. This never happened to every participant who registered themselves to the Adventurers Guild. Then Fran is attracted to the Magic Swordsman class because the name looks cool. Shisho agreed to Fran's wish, which perfectly suited her fighting style. All classes can be unlocked because Shisho has distributed skill points to all abilities, even though he feels guilty. Still, at least Fran can use Shisho as she pleases. Finally, the registration process was complete and Fran was given an adventurer card by Nell. Then Fran wanted to sell all the materials she had gathered from the monsters. When she took it out through the dimensional storage, Nell was surprised that Fran had already gathered this much material. After Nell checked them, Fran got a lot of money. The materials Fran brought were of very high quality because she was meticulous in separating the pieces of the monster's body. Each monster's body was indispensable for manufacturing tools, equipment, or whatever. Fran still has a lot of materials in her dimensional storage, so they can be resold if there is an urgent need. When Fran wants to find a place to stay, suddenly, some naughty adventurers want to take Fran's money. At first, Fran didn't care about them, but these adventurers threatened her. If Fran didn't give him the money from selling the monster ingredients, they would kill Fran without mercy because she was just a child. They also mocked the black cat race because it never evolved. The black cat race wouldn't be able to fight because they were the weakest race of the other races. They allege Fran is stealing materials from other people and selling them in the Adventurers Guild. The adventurers had also sold materials in this guild but didn't get that much money. They were sure that Fran must have been deliberately cooperating with Nell to sell more expensive ingredients. So instead, Fran had to hand over the money now. Then Shisho just felt what Fran had experienced long ago. Starting from being ridiculed, insulted, discarded, not considered, etc. Nell immediately hit one of the adventurers and explained that their materials were of poor quality, not cut properly and not cleaned. Nell said they'd better die if they still wanted to rob Fran. The adventurers didn't accept Nell's words, and luckily, one of the adventurers' attacks was thwarted by Fran. Fran was furious that the black cat race was always insulted, and she immediately fought the adventurers with just one hit.
マジか。この短期間で工夫して応用まで。
黒猫族をバカにするな。
惜しい。俺の足が。
After that, Nell would take care of these adventurers with the guards. She allowed Fran to continue her activities again. Fran thanked Nell and immediately left to look for a place to stay, as well as for armor that matched Fran's body. But suddenly, there is an old man who knows Shisho's identity as a legendary sword. Then Nell asked the rogue adventurers for compensation for property damage in this adventurers guild.
ここ汚した修繕費を請求しますね。払うまで回復はさせないから。